start my day with you and have some coffee. Just get everything all going. We've got some rocks to look at today, of course, the cards. And if it's your first time here, we will be looking at, good morning, Will, the Entrepreneur Oracle deck that I created with my friend Kathy Weiss. Good morning, Heather. 44 card deck with a 138-page guidebook. All the cards are really vibrant, bright colors, really great quality in the printing, gloss and matte finish on both sides, with the Entrepreneur Oracle featured on the other. So good morning. If you're joining us, let me know where you are joining us from, and also how you're doing today. Did you have a good weekend? Anything exciting happen? Let me know. I had pretty good weekend actually. Last weekend was pretty busy, but this weekend I made it a point to not do as much. Yeah, Will, you're in Orlando. How's the weather down there today? I bet it's nice, and we got a little bit of rain here today. It rained most of the weekend, but it was nice. Great weekend, lots of sleep and hugs. So good because you're there with your family, so that's great. And great to have you back on with us, Will. We missed you last week. Just make sure we got good picture going here. Let's see. Wait a couple more minutes, see if anybody else jumps on with us. Oh, it's hot. Oh, hey sis, morning. Looks like we got a few viewers. And if you are viewing, let me know. Put a comment in, otherwise I can't see you. Oh, Roslyn, welcome. Ah, you tried to go to a winery, but you had to turn around because only reservations allowed. Darn it. But going back on Friday, good. Don't give up on your plans, right? I miss those days of being in California and going to the winery. Today I'm having some Costa Rica coffee from my Nespresso. If you were enjoying your cup with me, let me know. And today we are going to look at a couple of grounding stones. So we've looked at all the stones that we have in the store, so we're going to go back through them now as we need them. I mean, because we always need them. Anyway, the first one we're going to look at is red jasper. And let's see if I can get a better view of this one. This piece I find really interesting because I'm holding it to where it's sitting down on my hand on the surface. So, but if you see it from the side, it kind of looks like a landscape, especially from this direction. So if you've been to Sedona or, Red Rock or some of those places, it kind of looks like the scenery you would see there. So it's a really cool piece. It's got, even on the bottom, it's got a couple of different, looks like it's got some calcite or quartz mixed in there. Anyway, red jasper. This piece is available on our site, and its main aspect or benefit is grounding. So let's look at the picture. Here it is on our website. So if you go to the store, it promotes grounding, encourages justice, stimulates intuitive insight, and provides perspective into your problems and challenges. Helps you remember your dreams, aids you in asserting your personal boundaries, brings peace and calming. So that's a really great piece. Just $7 in the store, and we just have the one of those. So we'll be using that today because our theme today will be about grounding. So if you follow astrology or any other methods of sort of perspectives, Right now, Mercury has come out of retrograde, which means we are going full force in the other direction. But what it also means is you might need some grounding. So as the momentum goes forward, we don't want to just fly forward and lose sight of our boundaries and that sort of thing. We want to make sure that we are still in alignment and still making decisions based on our decisions. So the other stone we're going to look at is hematite. That is a centering and calming stone. It clears and activates the root chakra, which is how you ground. It pulls negative energy from and aligns your chakras. So we've got two hematites here actually. So we've got the one that I'm currently showing on our website. It's a polished version. It's a pretty large stone actually. So you could see, like, compared to my hand, it's a pretty big, heavy piece. And then the other piece is another hematite, but it is more of a, I don't know if you would call it a raw version, but that's sort of what I'm calling it. It looks a little bubbly, melty. Got some good pictures of it here on the website that you can see. So it, of course, is the same qualities as the polish, just a different looking version of it. And again, they're both pretty good size. And it's so interesting to me, like how dark this one looks, even though it's exactly the same material. That's just all because it's one flat surface, as opposed to the more bubbly, melty version. So you can see those dark parts there and see how that becomes this. So it's cool to see them together in both forms. One day I'll learn how to get the rocks in the right spot for you. Same stone, same qualities. So let's get back to our cards. And of course, we still have some of the other things available that you'll find on the store. We've still got the calcite, the pyrite, and a few other pieces. And I will move this out of the way. If you have any questions or want to see any of the stones that you're interested in on the site, let me know and I can bring them out during our reading. As we get started today, I want to think about the start of our week, what that's going to look like, what we need to be aware of, if there's anything, any lessons or any sort of, not warnings, but like things just to be aware of. Like there might be some difficulties this week, or it might be a really great week, or it could be focusing on your to-dos, or I don't know. We'll see. So let's see what happens with that. And then after I pull a card for all of us, let me know if you would like a card for yourself. And we will look at those in conjunction with the card I choose for everyone. So the collective card for everyone today is thoughts. I want to get in a little closer here so we can see these cards a little bit better. So you'll notice this one here. Let's get it in. And we're going to put our Jasper and our hematite sort of on the card or around the card to support the message behind this one, because this one definitely has to do with being in your head a lot. So sometimes if we're in our head too much, that's the time we need to ground. So that's what we're sort of thinking about this week, is not necessarily not moving or not moving forward, but just being aware of our actions and making sure they're really in alignment. They're not just getting caught up in a whirlwind and just moving forward. So with thoughts, they can do the same thing. So choose thoughts that make your heart feel good over and over. So what this means, and I know we talked about this last week, because I think there were a couple people that may have gotten this one in the last week or so. This has to do with what you choose to focus on. So you don't want to necessarily control your thoughts, because I'm not really sure how helpful that would be. It's kind of like controlling your emotions, but you can choose which ones to focus on. So, what I mean by that is if you are constantly feeling, let's say, bad about yourself, like you don't have, you're not where you thought you would be in your job, let's just go with that example, and you're constantly looking at ways to prove that you are not in where you should be. Um, so you could focus on that, or you could focus on things like, what have you learned along the way? Where were you a year ago? Is that a different place? Are there other things in your life to be grateful for? Are you a good person? Do you have friends in your life? There's plenty of other thoughts you can focus on. But if you choose to focus on those other thoughts, that is sort of what brings you down and what doesn't help you make new decisions. Every day you get a chance to begin again. There's a prayer by Marianne Williamson that talks about that. It's just a reminder that every day you can begin again. So if you have a thought or you make a decision, you have a chance to do that over and over. So just like with your thoughts, you have a chance to choose what you're focusing on. So if you catch yourself going down the rabbit hole of the negative thoughts, or um, jealousy or anxiety or any of those things that don't really feel good, it's just about noticing it and then not letting yourself continue down the hole. Um, Sometimes reaching out to a friend is really helpful because they can throw you the line to get you out of the hole. So let's keep our thoughts grounded this week and keep them in alignment. But that doesn't mean they won't get out of alignment. None of this is um, finite or in a straight line. All of it is up and down, and it's supposed to do that. So don't be alarmed if you can't stay in good thoughts all the time, because you are not going to be able to do that. Is ignoring the same as not giving energy to it? Or should we acknowledge negative but not give judgment to it? Let it go and then move on. Yes, definitely. You don't want to ignore or try to like stifle, or that actually gives it more energy. So, what during my yoga teacher training, we talked about it in the way of observing your thoughts. So, if you see yourself start to go down, um, creating your story or whatever it is, then you can step back as an observer of your thoughts and just say, oh, look, there I go again. Isn't that interesting? Why am I going that way? Instead of like grabbing onto the thought, jumping down into the hole and just digging more and more and more. So definitely you need to not ignore them, or try to not have them, or um, you've got to have them. You just choose whether or not you believe it, or how much power you give it. Or another way I like to describe it is what's the volume in your head. So um, the thoughts that are negative or not helpful to your self-esteem, or those thoughts, turn the volume down on them. They're still there, but they don't drive your decision making. So listen to your thoughts that make you feel good. Yes, the other thoughts are there and you don't want to ignore them, but don't let them drive your decision making or even your overall just presence in the world. So hope that helps. And yet thank you for saying that, Roslyn, because that's a really good point. And you can't stop your thoughts. So that's the thing. You get to choose what to focus on. So just like in this picture, there's hundreds of leaves in this picture, and they're all different, right? So there's some dark ones, there's some light ones, there's even some white, some black, some orange, some green. These are to represent all the different kinds of thoughts. So which thoughts are you going to focus on? Because you're going to have all of them. So if you want to focus on any of them, you have a choice. You can focus on the bad if you want, or whatever you deem as bad, but it feels much better to focus on the ones that make you feel good. So the choice is yours. And the more thoughts we have, the more in our head and out of our body we can become. So that's when we start to seek validation from external sources instead of our own ideas and thoughts and alignments. And that's where the grounding comes in handy. There may actually, with that card, and there's in the guidebook, not all the cards, but a lot of them have a section called navigate. And what that means is how to navigate when you are in this. Okay, so when you're feeling overwhelmed by your thoughts, or you're having a lot of negative, or whatever it is that you're feeling overwhelmed by, you use the navigate section to help you through it. So through is different than around or avoiding, which would be the same as Rosalind was talking about with the ignoring. You have to have the thoughts, and you have to have these things, and you have to get through them. So in this case, the navigate section says, buy yourself some flowers or a plant you like for your home or office. This should be something that brings you joy when you look at it, smell it, and feel it. So that's a reminder of choosing the ones you want to focus on. So choose the flowers you like, have them in your office, hold this card to your heart, and think the word love. So there's a lot more insight on every card. And that's why the guidebook is so many pages, 138. So I hope that offers you all some insight. And I think this is a really great way to start the week and just think about where we are with our thoughts. Not are we winning our thoughts or whatever, it's just where we are. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, or you find yourself just sort of scattered, that's when we need to ground. And sometimes using these stones help. Nothing else is helping, a walk in nature or anything like that. Sometimes these little tools like the cards and stones are really helpful to help us get there. So if you are on and would like a card to add to thoughts for your week, let me know. And I will pull one for you. Let's see. Should be another pretty nice day here. We had a sort of, well, what I would call sort of, I always think of twilight when I see it, when it's raining and foggy. So it's a good day to catch up on movies, or, whatever it is you like to do during those days. Heather would like a card. Awesome. Let's see. And then Rosalind. Excellent. Sure. I'd love to pull a card for you. And if anybody's on watching now or the replay, feel free to share this video or any of our Entrepreneur Oracle so we can get this out into the world, get the decks sold to everybody, and get them working. Let's see, let's rearrange my picture a little bit. To go with yours, Heather, you've got this sort of green theme going on today. So we're going with thoughts for everyone, of course, and for you specifically. Sometimes thoughts, like we talked about, looking externally or looking for validation, that also can be related to the word research. Sometimes you need specific answers, find those, and move on. So don't get too trapped in looking for either validation or something that says yes, that's right or wrong or whatever it is. Just come back to your own thoughts and what you're in alignment with. So that would be what I would recommend this week. Is you do need to research things, but find what you need and move on. Don't sit there just because you feel like you need to find validation in whatever it is that you are researching or looking for. So Awesome. Welcome, Robert. Good to have you. It's okay. You're allowed to be late. You're never late as long as you make it, right? Sure, there would definitely be time for a card. So let's do Roslyn, then we've got Sis, and then Robert. So plenty of time. A little over 10 minutes of our allotted time. Not that, it cuts off before or after. Let's see. And we are pulling for Roslyn. Tools. So, again, think about thoughts and where those are going and what you focus on. And the same for tools. Some you have, some you learn, some you pay others to provide for you. Sometimes when I feel, welcome Tammy, of course you can have a card. When I feel like I need tools or I'm lacking tools, my initial thought is to force myself to learn the tools or become an expert at it, instead of looking at the other side of it is that we need other people. So tools can be defined as many things, right? So it could be things like taxes or accounting or that sort of thing, but it could also be actual material things like a computer or I don't know, maybe you need some rocks for your collection. And we've got those for you. Maybe it's the Oracle deck that you need. Tools can be a lot of things. It's not limited to material. It could be help. It could be mindset. Could be, maybe in this case, it's mindset. What are the tools you're using to keep your thoughts grounded? Most of us have a lot of tools and we avoid using them, or we look for easier ways. I don't know if it's easier or if it's just, I have training in yoga and Reiki and art and like so many things, right? But I still sometimes need help from other people. So just because we have skills or tools doesn't mean we don't need those things. So just keep that in mind this week. That is, both of those are hematite. One is polished, which is that one, and then one is sort of in its raw form here. Both available on the site. And then we have the red Jasper. We're using 3 more grounding root chakra stones today, and that's to help anchor our thoughts going into the week. So Rosalind, we've got you. And then I think Sissy was next. So let's pull one for Sissy. Then Robert, and then Tammy. Welcome, Tammy. Good to have you here. Sis, you're going to be looking at patience. And it's great to be grounding when you're thinking about patience, right? Because isn't that what patience really is, right? Instead of where am I going? What's the future hold? Where should I be? When is it coming? Whatever it is, what's the answer? All of those things. So stay grounded in your thoughts, which will guide your patience this week for whatever is coming. Just like in the photo here, you could see the path in the distance, but the focus is where you are on the path now. Oh, elite shungite. Oh, interesting. I don't know what that is, Robert, but I'll have to look it up. So, sis, anchor yourself this week and your thoughts and patience. All that is yours is coming. All right. Then we've got Robert. Billing. And it's funny about this card because I know the word billing. Every time I see this card, the word billing puts me off a little bit. And it's funny because even when I wrote the word down, when I was creating the deck, I thought, I can't put that. Nobody's gonna nobody's going to get it, or people are going to be like, oh, I don't do billing or whatever. It's really interesting that this card still gives me the same reaction. So, but when you look at the inside on this one, to receive, you must first ask. And then let's read that again together. To receive, first you must ask. So that's a really interesting one, not just in business, but in regular living, right? Like, friends, family, acquaintances, whatever. If you need something, you can't rely on people just knowing what it is you need, first of all, how much of it is you need, and that really is reflected when you run a business. I know for me in the beginning, when I would send out invoices, I questioned every invoice. Am I charging too much? Should I, is it worth that? Did I do a good enough job? There's all these questions, right? But that's the same thing that happens when you are not in a business or doing your business work. It's the same thing that happens when you're with your family or friends and you need help, and or our significant others. Sometimes we rely on people being able to tell what we need, even though we don't tell them ourselves. So um, to receive, first you must ask. So anchor your thoughts this week. Focus on what does make you feel good, what you need. But then the action for you, Robert, this week is to ask for what you need. So awesome. And then for Tammy, oh yeah, patience, sis, you need that today. Okay, well, there you go. You'll have it. Just ground yourself, ground your thoughts, and it will make achieving patience a little easier. It doesn't mean you'll just be patient and you'll stay there, right? Like you'll go in and out, but there's ways to get there, and it starts with anchoring your thoughts. Also, Robert, for you, just being clear about what it is you need. And I think that's where the grounding of your thoughts will be this week. What is it you really need? And can you look at that from a heartfelt place? And Tammy, welcome, Tammy. Good to have you. And a card for you will be projections. This is a great card, especially when you think about it with the thoughts card, right? So, can't we all, aren't we all in that habit or in and out of the habit of projections causing us to have certain thoughts? So let's read projections first. It doesn't matter what others believe about you, only what you believe about yourself. So this also has to do with seeking validation from outside sources or assurance, which we all look for sometimes. I mean, we are human and we need to feel like we are supported and backed up. But at what point are we projecting certain thoughts or beliefs onto other people? And when you project, those are all still your thoughts. Just because you're projecting a thought doesn't mean it's real. So, would you like to focus on your projections of what other people are thinking? Or would you like to focus on your own thoughts, grounding thoughts that make your heart feel good? It doesn't matter what others believe about you, only what you believe in yourself. So, Tammy, so happy to have you here, and I hope that that card offers you some insight. And actually, let's look at that card in the guidebook as well. Oops. It'd help if I remembered the order of letters, right? Projections. There's a great quote that goes with this one that I'll read to you. Stephen Pressfield, Do the Work, War of Art. He's got a couple other books. The problem with friends and family is that they know us as we are. They are invested in maintaining us as we are. The last thing we want is to remain as we are. So these projections don't just come from us, they can come from other people. So what he means in this quote is people know us in a certain way and they have a hard time seeing us in the new way as we change, as we learn, as we grow. But that's the last thing we want to do, is stay in that as the person that they know, just to make them feel comfortable. So Stephen Pressfield, if you don't know him, he has some great material, especially on writing, or Turning Pro is another book he has. He's got some really great insight on knowing yourself, believing in yourself, and just making it happen. There's no magic to it. It is just showing up every day. So that's what these cards help you do, is to continue to show up even in times of unmotivation or sadness or difficulty, or making lots of money or making no money, or whatever it is. That's what this is for. These are all tools to help you keep going. The magic is you. These cards are your tool to keep moving forward, to keep going. So I hope you guys have a great week. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We got just a minute or two left here. And if you have any questions about the cards, the rocks, anything really, you can contact me via Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll get notifications when we have new episodes uploaded. Um, Share it with your friends. They make great gifts. Yeah, it's a great tool that everybody needs, whether you're in business or not, or you're working from home, or you're trying to teach your kids from home, or you're just trying to um, live a productive life. So, beginner friendly, kids love to use them. Let's see, Roslyn. It evolves because we are making stories that we keep testing. Yes, and that's that whole thing about proving your thoughts, right? So if you are so I'm not enough, like say that's your story, you will continually look for ways throughout your day that you aren't enough, to prove that for sure. So that's where that testing comes in. Yep. Moving forward to expansive self incorporates your inner wisdom. Yes, that's lovely. Thanks, Rosalind. Appreciate that. Yeah, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and of course the website. You can find us. So thank you all for being here today. I appreciate you, and thank you, Will, for moderating for me. And see you guys soon. We'll be back on Thursday, same time, same place. Hope you guys have a great day and enjoy your coffee or tea wherever you are. Have a great week. See you guys Thursday.